It's Cara Newhart from Never Skip Brunch.
And Ella.
And we're back with another kids workshop project that you can make together at home. What are we gonna make?
We are going to make a present shelf.
We're gonna build a super simple DIY shelf that you can use to display your presents or some of your holiday decor. Are you ready?
Yeah.
For this project, you'll need 2x2 boards, some hinges, some 2x1/2 inch or 1/4 inch boards, and a project panel or a 1x12 pine board, depending on how deep you want your shelves to be.
Okay, the first thing we have to do is measure our boards. We're gonna measure these big boards. Can you put that at the end? We're gonna measure 42 inches. Do you see 4-2 on the tape measure? Come over here. Do you see number 4-2?
We're measuring out our 1x2 boards to create the side frames for our present ladder. Measuring is such a fun way for elementary aged kids to get involved with this project. Just measure and let them mark on the line. We decided to make our ladder kid-sized, but you can totally create one that's taller as well by just adapting the frame dimensions to your desired height.
Okay, now mommy's gonna go cut these with the saw into an angle cut, 22 degrees. Okay, so I'll be right back.
Here's a pro tip. Most miter saws have a specific mark for a 22.5 degree angle cut. Cut off the ends of our boards at a 22.5 degree angle. This will create a triangle where both legs are flat on the floor and gives our ladder a Christmas tree shape. So at this end, I've cut both pieces to 22.5 degrees. And then at this end, I've cut it to 45 degrees. Cut the other end of the frame pieces to a 45 degree angle at different sizes. 2 boards at 42 inches and 2 boards at 44 and 7/8 inches. So these two pieces are 45 degrees at each end, and then down here, they're different sizes at 22.5 degrees. So putting them together, you're gonna get something like this. So it's a 45 degree triangle where these are gonna be flush as the feet, and then up here, it creates kind of that nice pretty peak. The longer piece forms the peak, and the smaller one attaches to the side of it. There's 2 ways to attach this. For a foldable ladder, add a hinge at the bottom, and for a fixed ladder, add a wood screw through the top.
Give me that clamp. So happy?
Yeah.
It's easiest to clamp your pieces securely in place while you attach them with either your hinge or your screws.
You're silly.
I'm using hinges for a foldable ladder, and I'm using painter's tape to secure them in place while I drive the screws.
Yeah, can you smooth the top out? Good job, nice and tight.
With the hinge held in place by the tape, it's easier to drive screws into the holes of the hinge. Older kids can help with this step, but for little ones, they can be in charge of helping add and remove the tape.
I'm screw duty, so I put the screws on.
You want to be on screw duty? Okay.
Because I am. It was.
Let me peel off the tape.
Once the hinge is securely attached, you can peel off the tape and then test it out to make sure it folds in half.
Okay. And the other way.
It can fold. So it can fold like this, and when it's time to go out, just like that. Is that cool?
Yeah, it actually stands up.
Yeah, we need to make it the other side now. We have to measure how high our first shelf should be. Do you want to measure or do you want to mark?
Measure.
Okay.
Actually, mark.
Okay.
Time for some more measuring, and this time it's the shelf height. So I'm just measuring 12 inches up from the floor and marking that location on the side frame. I'm going to mark this on both sides and then measure across to determine how big my shelf needs to be. I'll map this onto my project panel or 1x12 board and then make this cut on the miter saw.
Okay, now I'm going to go cut this board.
If you're using a project panel, you can rip it down to your desired width using a circular saw and then cut it to size with a miter saw. With the shelves cut to size, you'll need to cut 4 shelf supports that are the same depth as your shelves. We'll attach these to the frame. Attach the shelf supports on the marks that you measured from before. There's many ways to attach these. My favorite is pocket holes, but you could also use wood glue or a brad nailer. I'm just using my shelf to line up the placement of the shelf supports. I'm marking exactly where I want it to go because I want this to be super flush, but feel free to let your shelf overhang a little bit across the frame, as long as the shelf is long enough so that it sits comfortably on these brackets, you'll be good to go. So now I'm just placing this brace where I marked and securing it to the frame using some pocket holes. For this ladder, we chose to do 2 shelves that are spaced about 12 inches apart, but you can put your shelves anywhere you want, as high or as low, creating as many or as few shelves as you wish. Just make sure each shelf has 2 support brackets, one on each side. Brackets secured to one side, it's time to secure them to the other side of the frame. I did this vertically because I thought it'd be easier to line up my brackets, but I'm just driving pocket hole screws into the opposite side of the frame, exactly the way I attached them the first time. Doing it vertically helps make sure all 4 legs are on the floor and flat, which means my ladder won't be wobbly, it will sit evenly and flush against the floor. Little ones can totally help with this step too.
Okay, come here. Okay, come over here.
I let Ella help by holding the drill in place while she squeezes the trigger.
Squeeze the button. Oh, there you go. You did it.
With the shelf supports attached, it's time to add our shelves.
Then I will Christmas tree up.
You think it looks good?
Uh-huh.
Do you know that it folds up? Do you want to test it out?
Yeah.
Okay, get your shelf down.
If you made a folding present ladder using hinges, you'll just remove the shelves and fold it up.
But I did not see that coming.
You did not see that coming? Okay, now push your side toward me.
A pro tip, add some felt feet to the bottom so it doesn't scratch the
I
floor.
haven't picked this up, so...
Yeah, you take the shelves up so it folds up. Okay, let's put it back and then we can put the presents on it.
Ooh.
If you created a fixed ladder using wood screws, you can feel free to secure the shelves permanently to the shelf braces. You could use wood glue or brad nails to hold them in place. For a movable ladder, it's best to keep them loose so that you can place them and fold the ladder as needed. We'll style the shelves with some presents and a rug and show you how it looks all finished.
Now let's go. I'm excited for this.
Ta-da! This easy Christmas tree shaped present ladder is a perfect place to style presents for the holidays. We added a faux cow rug for some texture.
If you like this project,
Give it thumbs up.
and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the loop for more projects just like this.